Recess the nut side of the upper ball stud plate into this hole. Use a square to line up the plate and drill 4 pilot holes and screw in 4 number 10 3/4 inch screws. Drill the 5th pilot hole completely through the vertical and turn the vertical over. Locate the pilot hole and drill a 1/4 inch diameter hole. Insert 1 T-nut. Turn the vertical back over and screw a 1/4 inch machine screw snugly into the T-nut. Refer to the booklet for the mounting position of the pivot rod and plate. Measure from the bottom of the vertical and the front finished edge of the vertical and mark. Drill a 5/8 inch diameter hole 1/2 inch deep and insert the 1/2 inch end of the rod into the hole. Use a square to line up the plate and drill 2 pilot holes completely through the vertical, using the upper holes in the pivot plate as a guide. Turn the vertical over. Locate the pilot hole and drill a 1/4 inch diameter hole. Tap 2 T-nuts into the 2 upper holes from the outside, then screw 2 1/4 inch machine screws through the pivot plate into the T-nuts. Drill 2 pilot holes and screw 2 number 12 3/4 inch screws through the pivot holes into the vertical. Repeat the steps to mount the bed stop, upper ball stud plate, and male pivot plate on the right vertical, being sure to measure from the finished edge of the vertical. Prepare the headboard, Part F, by selecting one side as the good side and applying pre-glued wood veneer tape or melamine tape to both long edges. The header, Part H, consists of the header board, the front rail, the rear rail, and 2 mounting cleats. Make 8 1/2 inch thick spacer blocks using scrap material. With the good side of the header board facing down, place the spacers under the header board. Mark, drill, and countersink 5 pilot holes 7/8 of an inch from the long edge of the rear rail. Apply glue to the edge of the header board. With the spacers still in place, place the rear rail against the glued edge of the header board. Using the pilot holes as a guide, drill 1/8 inch pilot holes into the edge of the header board. Attach the rear rail to the header board with 5 number 8 2-inch screws. Next, mark and drill 5 pilot holes 7/8 of an inch from the long edge of the front rail. Apply glue to the edge of the header board. With the spacers still in place the front rail against the glued edge of the header board. Attach the front rail to the header board with 2-inch finishing nails. Glue and screw the mounting cleats to the header board using number 8 2-inch screws. Be sure to drill pilot holes and countersink the screws flush with the wood. We recommend removing all the hardware before you sand and finish the wooden components of your bed. There are an infinite number of ways to customize the look of your bed and add to its functionality. You can add decorative molding such as picture frame molding or preformed wood trim to the face panel and verticals. You can create a traditional look or a contemporary one by applying crown molding to the bed header and upper verticals and base molding. Here are some examples of beds built using the Create-A-Bed Murphy bed mechanism. After you've applied your decorative trim and put a finish on the wooden components, reattach the mechanism components, referring to the construction booklet if necessary. Place the 2 1/4-inch thick mattress support pieces, parts J, inside the face panel assembly on top of the inner bed frame and attach them to the bed frame with 1/2 to 3/4-inch screws. Measure 16 inches in both directions from the corner of the footrail and mark. Use short screws to screw each end of the elastic mattress strap through the plywood liner into the bed frame. Now you're ready to assemble and install your new Murphy bed using the blue booklet and a few simple tools. This part of the video features the step-by-step instructions for assembling and installing your Murphy bed. A Murphy bed built using the Create-A-Bed Murphy bed mechanism is designed to provide years of trouble-free use when properly assembled and mounted to the wall. Watch this video from start to finish before attempting to assemble your bed. This bed contains stored mechanical energy which can cause serious injury or damage to the bed if improperly handled. Your bed must be securely anchored to the wall. This video will describe installation to wood or metal stud walls as well as masonry walls. If you have any questions about any aspect of assembling your bed, mounting it properly to the wall, or disassembling your bed, check the list of frequently asked questions at the end of this video or call our technical assistance hotline at this toll-free number. Now, let's get started. Carefully move the bed components and hardware to the room where the bed is to be installed. You should have the following components: the bed face panel, 2 verticals, the headboard, and the header. The packet of hardware should include the following: 2 E-clips and 2 plastic washers, and 2 pistons. The tools you'll need to assemble and install the bed are a power drill, a stud finder, a tape measure, Phillips head screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, wood clamps, and drill bits appropriate to your mounting surface. Position the face panel face down on the carpet or other padded surface in front of the wall to which you will attach the bed. Place the ball stud plate end closest to the wall. Lay the left vertical on its finished edge with mounted hardware facing the bed face panel. Slide a plastic washer onto the pivot bar. Slide the pivot bar into the pivot hole on the left side of the face panel until no gap remains between the side of the bed face panel and the vertical. Snap the metal E-clip into the groove at the end of the pivot bar. Repeat these steps with the right vertical. Measure up 15 inches from the end of the vertical and mark. This mark will be used as a reference for the placement of the headboard. Mark 2 points, one 18 inches and one 28 inches from the end of the vertical. Drill 2 pilot holes through each of the verticals at the 18-inch and 28-inch marks. With a helper, screw the headboard into place using 2 number 8 2-inch screws. Repeat on the other end of the headboard. With the bed face panel remaining face down on the padded floor with both legs in the closed position against the face panel surface, use a helper to help you lift the ends of both verticals to rotate them and the headboard into the upright position. With a helper, place the bed header between the bed verticals, making sure that the nailed front rail is in the front and the rear rail is closest to the wall. Making sure the top and front edges are flush, clamp the header to the verticals. Carefully raise the face panel up into the bed cabinet. The face panel will be very heavy. To maintain uniform spacing around the face panel, adjust the position of the header as needed. Carefully lower the face panel. Drill 4 1/8-inch pilot holes 1 1/4 inch deep through the mounting cleats into the bed verticals. Attach the bed header to the vertical with 4 number 8 1 1/4 inch screws. Repeat this step on the other end of the header. Take care not to drill or screw all the way through the vertical. Remove the 2 bed stops from the inside of the bed cabinet. With the face panel still in the lowered position, carefully place the back of the bed cabinet 2 to 3 feet away from the wall, allowing enough room to work comfortably behind the bed. The pistons must be mounted so that the arrow on the label points up. Snap the lower end of the piston on the ball stud mounted to the side of the face panel. Rest the piston against the headboard. Repeat on the other side with the second piston. With a helper firmly holding the bed cabinet, raise the bed face panel assembly up and push it up into the bed cabinet until the front edge is recessed about 3 inches. The face panel will be very heavy. At this point, the upper end of the piston can be snapped on. Reach inside the bed cabinet from the back and snap the upper end of the piston onto the upper ball stud plate mounted on the vertical. Repeat on the other side. If you cannot easily snap the upper end of the piston onto the ball stud, your hardware may be mounted incorrectly or in the wrong position. The face panel should not have to be pulled out of the cabinet past vertical to install the pistons. If the wall does not have base molding, push the bed cabinet against the wall. If the wall has base molding, make a cut at the bottom rear of the cabinet verticals to accommodate the molding and push the bed cabinet until the backs of the verticals and the headboard are flush against the wall. Check to make sure the top and bottom of the bed cabinet are firmly against the wall. Insert a piece of cardboard in the gap between the face panel and each vertical. Do not attempt to operate your Murphy bed until it is securely anchored to the wall. Failure to do so could result in serious injury or damage to the bed. Your Murphy bed must be properly anchored to the wall using the appropriate fasteners. Which fasteners you use will depend on whether your wall is of wood stud, metal stud, or masonry construction. 3-inch drywall screws are used to anchor the bed cabinet to walls with wood studs. We recommend using a good stud finder, which can be purchased at any hardware store or home improvement center. This will help you locate the center of the stud, providing the most secure anchor. Find the studs in your wall and mark them. You may need to move your Murphy bed a few inches to the right or left once you've located the centers of the studs. Most walls are constructed with the studs 16 inches apart. Drill 3 pilot holes through the back rail of the bed header into the studs and drive 3 3-inch drywall screws through the wall into the studs. You must anchor the bed cabinet with 3 screws for a twin or full-size bed and 4 screws for a queen-size bed. Masonry screws are used to anchor the bed cabinet to walls of concrete, mortar, or brick construction. We suggest using Tapcon masonry screws, size 1/4 inch by 2 1/4 inch with hex washer head. You must anchor the bed cabinet with 3 screws for a twin or full-size bed and 4 screws for a queen-size bed. Drill 3 3/16-inch pilot holes through the back rail of the bed header. Using a 3/16 by 4-inch concrete drill bit, drill pilot holes 1 3/4 inch deep into the masonry, using the pilot holes in the bed header as a guide. Including the rear rail, the total depth of the pilot holes will be 2.5 inches. Anchor the bed by screwing the concrete screws through the back rail into the wall using a 1/4 inch hex head driver. .3/16 by 4-inch toggle bolts are used to anchor the bed cabinet to a wall with metal studs. We recommend using a good stud finder, which can be purchased at any hardware store or home improvement center. This will help you locate the center of the stud, providing the most secure anchor. Find the studs in your wall and mark them. You may need to move your Murphy bed a few inches to the right or left after you've located the centers of the studs. Most walls are constructed with the studs 16 inches apart. Drill 3 pilot holes through the back rail of the cabinet header into the wall. Pull the bed away from the wall. Using a 9/16-inch drill bit, drill holes at the pilot holes through the metal studs. Be sure you drill through the studs. Insert the screw through the back rail of the header. Now thread the toggle wing on the screw. Fold the wings back completely and push it through the metal stud until the wings spring open. Pull the header rail back to hold the wings against the inside of the stud and tighten with a screwdriver. You must anchor the bed cabinet with 3 toggle bolts for a twin or full-size bed and 4 toggle bolts for a queen-size bed. After the bed is firmly and securely anchored to the wall, flip up both blocking legs and lower the face panel. With a helper holding the face panel in the down position, place the inner spring mattress inside the face panel and secure it with the elastic retaining straps. Don't be concerned if it seems difficult to lower the face panel. Once the mattress is in place, the bed will stay down and function easily. If the mattress is lightweight and the face panel floats off the floor, add some weight under the 1/4-inch mattress support Part J at the foot of the bed. Reattach the 2 bed stops from the inside of the bed cabinet. Close the bed. If the gap around the face panel is uneven, push gently at the bottom of the end panel on the side with the smallest gap until the desired gap is obtained. If you plan to add decorative base molding to your bed, position it across the lower front of the bed cabinet and attach it only to the front and bottom edges of the verticals. Your Murphy bed can be easily disassembled and moved, if necessary, by following these steps. Do not attempt to take your bed apart without following these steps, or you could damage your bed. If your bed has base molding, remove it first. Open both legs and lower the bed face panel. Remove both bed stops. With a helper holding the bed face panel down, remove the mattress. Raise the bed face panel back up into the bed cabinet and close both legs. The face panel will recess into the cabinet. Remove the anchor screws from the top of the bed cabinet. Do not remove the anchor screws with the face panel in the open or lowered position. Place the bed cabinet 2 to 3 feet away from the wall, allowing enough room to work comfortably behind it. With a helper securely holding the bed cabinet, the pistons can now be removed one at a time. Use a flat blade screwdriver to gently pry up the spring clip located around the plastic head of the upper end of the piston. Now pull the end of the piston off the ball stud. Remember, the spring clip is just lifted, not removed completely. Repeat on the other piston. With a helper holding the outer cabinet assembly, close both legs and carefully lower the face panel to the floor. Unscrew and remove the header. With a helper, lower the vertical and headboard assembly to the floor. Unscrew and remove the headboard. Use a flat blade screwdriver to gently pry up the spring clip of the lower ends of both pistons. Now just pull the end of the piston off the ball stud. Use the flat blade screwdriver to remove the E-clips. Remove the verticals from the face panel. Here are some of the more frequently asked questions we get from our customers. What kind of mattress do I use with my bed? This mechanism was designed to use a quality innerspring mattress of up to 12 inches in thickness. Check the cut sheet page of your construction booklet for the suggested mattress size and weight for your bed size and style. I can't compress the piston. Is it frozen up? Each piston contains as much as 240 pounds of pressure in order to raise and lower your face panel and mattress easily and cannot be compressed by hand. Do not attempt to compress a piston in any way except as described in this video and in the instruction booklet. You can damage the piston. The bed is very hard to open and will not stay down. The piston lift mechanism contains enough power to raise and lower the face panel and a quality mattress easily. The face panel will not stay down without the mattress. If the face panel stays down without the mattress, your face panel is too heavy or your mechanism mounting measurements are not correct. If the face panel floats off the ground after you've put a mattress inside it, you can add a small amount of weight under the 1/4-inch mattress support Part J at the foot of the bed to keep it down. I pushed my face panel back into the bed cabinet, but the piston is still too long or too short to snap onto the upper ball stud plate. If you cannot easily snap the upper end of the piston on the ball stud, or if the face panel has to be pulled out of the cabinet past vertical to install the pistons, one or more of your ball stud plates is not mounted correctly or is mounted in the wrong place. Carefully disassemble your bed and check your measurements against those in the booklet you used to build the bed. Remember, the measurements in the white booklet are different